Hello, my name is Skylar Child and I am a fan of sharp knives, and that's what this video is about today. Actually, not the knife itself, but a new knife sharpening fixture. This is called the iSharpW. It was invented by a good friend of mine, Mr. Jan Chanouche. Jan is an engineer by trade. He's a kind of inventor and handyman as well, and not being particularly satisfied with the knife sharpening fixtures he had at hand, he set his mind to going ahead and building one of his own. This is the result of his work. He's a fan of natural materials, so this is all made out of wood, as far as the base and the main pieces of the fixture. However, there's a couple of unique features on this. One is the means of holding the knife blade. It uses a neodymium magnet, a very powerful magnet. And as you can see, it's got a lot of holding power. You can pick up the whole fixture with this magnet. The other thing it has is it has an electronic angle gauge. And this angle gauge can be used to zero out the tool and then to set an angle to any place you want, up to 45 degrees if you want. But it's a really nice tool. In practice, a knife is attached using the magnet. Sharpening stones. This uses Japanese water stones and come in grits from 180, I think, is the coarsest stone that he has, and goes in graduations up to 3,000 grit. There may be even others available. I'm not really sure myself. But in any case, so these are the stones, and it's on a rod assembly that goes through this pivot bearing kind of an arrangement that Jan came up with. And here's how I would go about using that. This is set up now. I would take, there's a wing nut on the back side of this, by the way, and you loosen that, and then you can turn this barrel to any position you want. What I like to do is go ahead and set it with the stones in place and bring it to where it's absolutely flush across this one surface, and that gives you a 0 point, if you will. Let's go ahead and turn the unit on. And we'll zero it. And this particular angle gauge is able to adjust in very fine increments. I believe the accuracy is quoted as being plus or minus 0.3 degrees. So I'm going to set this up for a pretty fine edge for a kitchen knife. I like to use 13 degrees. And so we rock this back and watch the gauge until we get to 13 degrees. At that point, I'll go ahead and attach the knife. And here it's got a really good hold on there. I'm set up with a 180. This knife is actually it started somewhat sharp, but I'm going to start here at 400. And the tower that holds the pivoting bearing moves back and forth across the fixture, like so. And that allows you to gain access to all parts of blades, even longer blades. A few passes on the stone, and you can see this is holding a very precise angle. It's not varying. And that is, in fact, what's going to give you sharpness on the blade, is a very consistent angle. We can move this down to the other end to gain more access to the tip. And it reaches the entire blade, as you'd expect it to. To sharpen the opposite side, rock it off, and repeat on the other side. And there you have it. That's the way the iSharpW works. Something that I was also curious about, because I've got a lot of different knife sharpening fixtures myself. I've played around with the Chef's Choice, I've played around with the WorkSharp, I have Lansky tools, I have some that are like knockoffs of the Warthog. There's a lot of different tools out there for sharpening knives. One of the limitations, I think, for a lot of the designs is the blades that it will hold and give you access to. So I tried it with a standard kitchen type knife. This is a Santoku style design. You can move over to your utility knives, and you can see it presents good access to the majority of the blade. It wants to hold it back so that the tip here of this utility knife, kitchen utility knife, doesn't particularly get good access. But if you rock the knife and you put a reference point on there, you can also, using like blue tape or something of that ilk, fasten the knife so that you still can get access to the tip. What I would like to do in something like this is I would sharpen the tip section first, both sides, and then I would present the blade as normal on the magnet to get access to the belly of the blade. Okay, so that's again about a 6-inch utility knife. It gives you about the same capability in doing a paring knife for the kitchen. Hunting knives, it also does a good job there. And again, those magnets are just super powerful. Same thing, if you're having problems getting access to the tip, swing the knife handle out a little bit, tape it, use a set reference position. That way you get the consistency that you're looking for all the blade designs. And here's what I found very good. I carry a pocket knife all the time, just a little everyday folder. This is a kind of a mini Stockman type design. These have very shallow depth on the blades, and that makes them particularly difficult to get clamps on, or even with this magnet arrangement. I started with the large clip blade, and I found that, oh, that worked really well. I actually can get full access to that blade even though it's this narrow. When I moved to the shorter narrow blades, the sheep's foot, again, no problem with that one. I can get full access to this blade, you know. The only one that's a little bit the most challenging of them is this kind of a little bit modified pen blade. That one, I can, again, get the majority of the belly of the blade, but the tip, again, not as well. So again, same trick as with the other knives. If you want to sharpen the tip, I recommend sharpen that first, then move the knife in alignment and get the rest of the belly. So there you have it. That's the iSharpW. It's a really nice tool. The angle adjustment is repeatable. You can put those knives, you know, into use in your kitchen, whatever, and if you know what your angles are, you can come right back, zero your piece of equipment, this test fixture, using the electronic gauge, reset to the angle of your preference, and then begin your sharpening. I hope you've enjoyed this. I look forward to hearing any feedback you might have. And as well, if you're interested in purchasing an iSharpW, they're available on Amazon.com. Just type in iSharpW all together. Thanks and have a great day. Goodbye.